Brand new Pokemon revealed for 7th generation on August 1st.
Pokemon! 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 Pokemon!
Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Moon discussion. Now, if you can hear a fan noise, that is my computer. I've tested, and it is indeed my computer, so that means because it's loud enough, I can have a little itty bitty fan that's not very loud blowing on me during this hot night or whatever. So anyway, I apologize for that. Nothing I can do about it, given that I have a huge computer that produces a lot of heat. So, apologies. So anyway, today we're going to talk about the 9 Pokemon that were revealed. 9 Pokemon? But Dustin, there were only 6 Pokemon revealed. Well, one of them has 4 different forms that are special enough that it feels almost like we have 9 Pokemon. So first off, let's talk about the Pokemon that has 4 forms, based on the island that you catch it in, and possibly other factors involved as well. So of course we have this really cool dancing dancer bird called Oricorio. Oricorio is of course the dancing Pokemon whose changes forms by sipping the nectar of certain flowers, which is obviously island dependent. So changing into these forms doesn't simply change its appearance, as most form changes are known to, or whatever, but there are some that, well, actually, there's only a couple that really change types, so, like Giratina, I think, doesn't change types, but it changed forms, but Oricorio's main typing changes, so, of course, I'll discuss the forms, but I want to make a little speculation thing real quick. I'm assuming that you can actually take Oricorio and specifically go to an island that has specific flowers, and maybe you can do some sort of activation sequence that might indeed change the form. Or maybe you're just stuck with whatever form you get depending on the island you get it from, which would definitely be interesting. So let's of course go into the forms themselves, or the styles. So we'll start off with Bale style, which is the fire flying form. And this one is interesting because it almost resembles the dancing style of Latin America, or maybe Spanish dancers, like salsa dancing or whatever. That's what it kind of seems like it's based off. And then it says on Pokemon.com, Bale style makes it very passionate as it power fills its body. It sends down fluff flying and can ignite this fluff and unleash fiery dance attacks. I didn't make this when I learned that I remembered Fiery Dance was a move. Makes me wonder if Fiery Dance is something that can learn by Oricorio or whatever. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So, moving on, then of course we have this cheerleader style called Pom Pom style, which is no surprise for me. But which is what I mean is, it's not a surprise to me that Pom Pom style is electric flying. Electric because cheerleaders are supposed to be energetic. They're supposed to get the spectators pumping, the audience, getting pumped up and energy, and I think that type of energy is best represented by electricity rather than all the other types. So that's why I think it makes sense. So Pom Pom style is friendly towards people, what cheerleaders should be like, unlike in real life where cheerleaders hate other cheerleaders and athletes, and everyone else is beneath them, which is unfortunate. But it's interesting that cheerleaders are supposed to be there to be friendly and peppy, but they have their own cliques and people that they don't like. But anyway, Pom Pom style likes to dance to encourage trainers who are feeling glum. It also builds up static electricity and can unleash powerful shocks. And now we move on to the third style, which is Pau, which I think is what it is. It's Pau style, and it's a very Hawaiian nature because it looks like a hula dancer, basically. And the Pau style is psychic flying. The Pau style the Pau style acts as its own pace, making it difficult to deal with. It sharpens its spirited moves through dance, increasing its psychic abilities. The dance it does expresses its gratitude to the guardian deity Pokemon, which, hey, if I'm not mistaken, we have two legendary Pokemon that are part psychic. I don't know if that means anything, but maybe it'll depend on the island that you get Pau style, because apparently each island is supposed to have a guardian, so maybe that particular guardian is part psychic. Then lastly, the Kanto favorite, the Sensu style. This style seems very reminiscent of Japanese style dancing because it kind of looks like those uh, Japanese or Asian cultured women who dance like that, that have those fans or whatever that they use to dance with or whatever. So I'm assuming that's what it's based off. Maybe not necessarily Japanese, but Asian culture. So maybe like China or Korea or something like that. So anyway, it's also ghost flying, the Sensu style. And Sensu style is quiet and collected and gathers the spirits drifting about in an area and borrows their power to fight, of course, through dancing. I said Kanto favorite because people from Kanto feel a great liking to this Pokemon because it reminds them of their homeland. That's all the styles and all the typings and stuff, but there are two other features about Oricorio that's kind of a general thing. One, of course, is the ability known as Dancer, which allows Oricorio to use copied moves immediately after the opponent, such as Quiver Dance. So dance moves are a no-go with Oricorio unless you want them to reap the benefits of the dance move as well. There's also a shared move that does depend on their typing, but all four of them have access to it, and it is just one ability that depends on the style it is, and it's called Revelation Dance. And it's a move that only Oricorio can learn, and its move and the move's type changes based on the style of Oricorio. So of course it could be a fire type, electric type, psychic, or even a ghost type depending on the style. So that pretty much covers that particular neat Pokemon. So let's, of course, move on to the other 5 remaining Pokemon. So next up, of course, we're going to talk about the interesting grass-type evolutionary line that was revealed. And, of course, what we have is Fomantis, which evolves into Lurantis. Now, this is an interesting Pokemon because it seems to be based off of a mantis-like creature, but isn't part bug, which is interesting. It's like they seem to be Game Freak seems to be afraid of giving certain Pokemon dual typings like Flabebe, Floette, Florges, Comfey, as well as these particular Pokemon. It's like there has to be pure type of these Pokemon, and it's like, well, we can't just make it a fairy type and a grass type because it'll be another dual type. So I don't know, it just depends on however they're feeling. But anyway, let's move on real quick. Fomantis. Fomantis is a nocturnal and performs photosynthesis during the day. It also doesn't stay in the same location twice for safety, security reasons, or whatever. Probably safety reasons. I don't think security really matters in Pokemon world, I guess. I think security only applies to like certain aspects, so I think it's just safety. So I think, yeah, it is safety or whatever. So photosynthesis is not only the source of energy, it's also necessary for strength and the brilliant coloration of its evolved form. Photosynthesis is also incredibly important to it that it'll attack any of those that disturb this process. Due to this, I'm speculating that Fomantis evolves when it's sunny out or during the day. It's not confirmed how Fomantis evolves, but based on the photosynthesis is how it seems to evolve, or in relation to its evolution, I'm assuming that it evolves through sunlight. So of course, then we move on to Lurantis, which draws opponents with its flower-like appearance and aroma that takes them out, also regarded as the most gorgeous of all the grass types due to its brilliant coloration and elegant moves. It does trust trainers who do a good job caring for it, but has problems growing close to lazy trainers. Lurantis can also learn a move called Solar Blade. Solar Blade absorbs energy from the sun and unleashes it on the second turn. I'm assuming that this is a physical version of Solar Beam. Not too relevant right now, but I shall say right now that Lurantis is a totem Pokemon, but I will talk about more of this in my Island Trial Challenge video, along with the Z moves, of course, in that particular video. So before I talk about the Pokemon that were revealed in relation to the past 7th generation Pokemon that we've got up to this particular point, there's one completely brand new 7th generation Pokemon that's not related to the other 7th generation Pokemon related, and it's pretty interesting because I don't know what it means. And it's called Minior. And its normal form looks like a moon, asteroid, meteor type thing with markings and what looks like eyes. But that's not all. Minior is the meteor Pokemon, and it possesses the typing of rock flying and has a unique ability called Shields Down. It is said Minior are formed in the stratosphere and live by absorbing the detritus, which is basically waste or debris or any kind for that. I also have to thank Pokemon.com for making me look up a word. Thank you. Thank you for using a word that I've never really heard before or ever, and I had to go look up what that word meant. Thank you so much for that. No, it's fine. It's fine. Once it has eaten enough that it becomes heavy, it falls towards the Pokemon world. Minior has a hard and heavy outer shell that if it breaks will become a core which is lighter and faster until its shell breaks. The core of its center will not be revealed. Yes, Minior cores can have one of 4 different colors: yellow, orange, pink, and blue. Shields Down is also interesting. It provides great defensive capabilities and protects it from status conditions that when it's at least less than half health, it will break and become the core, which is better suited to attacking and is supposedly faster. So I'm thinking that Minior in of itself will have like high defenses, and when Shields Down happens, it'll have lower defenses, but its attack and speed will increase, which would be interesting. So there's also one little speculation that I want to add. What if Minior had an evolution that depended on the color of its core? Perhaps that's why its core can be of different colors. But it could just be aesthetic like Flabébé was. You know, it had different colors, but they really had no relevance outside of aesthetic appeal. So finally, of course, let's talk about the Pokemon that were kind of expected, but we're actually getting confirmation here. Starting off with Mudsdale, or rather the Pokemon in relation to Mudsdale. When I talked about Mudsdale in that video when I talked about it, I did mention how cool it would be, since the thing was huge, how cool it would be to have a pre-evolution, since obviously it wasn't going to have an evolution. There was no way Mudsdale was going to have an evolution. If it has an evolution, that thing is probably going to be the most overused Pokemon ever, regardless of the circumstances, because Mudsdale already looks like it's going to be a fairly strong Pokemon in of itself. If that thing evolves, it's going to be like a pseudo-legendary, basically, and then people are going to use it constantly. So, and of course, lo and behold, we have none other than Mudbray, the donkey Pokemon. Not entirely sure I like that a donkey evolves into a Clydesdale horse, but I guess Game Freak can do whatever they want. And it's also a Pokemon that, of course, is part ground. Mudbray was said to be found all over the world, but it was overhunted and ended up on the verge of extinction. I don't know why it was hunted. Maybe people thought it was ugly and wanted to put it out of its misery. I mean, because I don't necessarily think hunting a Mudbray for food would make any sense. Would you want to eat a dirty horse burger or a donkey burger or whatever it is? I don't know why it was hunted, you know, so it basically ended up on the verge of extinction, but luckily the Alola region is the only place, well, not luckily, but the Alola region is a place where you can find wild Mudbray in the wild. Otherwise, I think they're like in the captive areas and stuff or whatever, so Mudbray boasts superhuman strength and carry loads 50 times its weight. Mudbray loves playing in the mud, and it's easy to live in harmony so long as mud is available. If not, it will become stressed and might not listen. It also, like its evolution, possesses own tempo or stamina as one of its abilities. That's Mudspray. So let's talk about the evolution of a Pokemon that felt like it was guaranteed. Of course, I'm talking about, if you probably already know the news, is Young Goose's evolution, Gumshoes, the Stakeout Pokemon with Stakeout and Strong Jaw as its ability. Now, I'm going to probably be as brief as possible in regards to this, because I made a couple of paragraphs that I really do not want to go over. But, I'm sure a lot of people are expecting me to make the joke, but unlike other people, I'm not going to comfortably make the joke or make the comparison because I really don't like the comparison. And of course, that's the whole Donald Trump joke. Ha ha ha, Donald Trump. I mean, I feel like it's insulting to Gumshoes to call it the Donald Trump Pokemon, but I don't necessarily think that makes any sense, and I'll be brief here, and it's because Gumshoes is basically a detective. That's what stakeouts are. Stakeouts are when police officers sit in their car, basically, at least the media fictional representation, where they eat like Chinese takeout or pizza or something, and they watch one particular person as much as possible and, follow them or whatever, and that's kind of what Gumshoes is. Not only that, Gumshoe itself is a synonym for detective, and a lot of people are thinking that Gumshoes has Donald Trump's hairstyle. That's actually a flat cap, which is called a detective style cap or whatever. I looked up some website, and of course it was called Detective Style, and it was under the flat caps section or whatever, and it looked exactly like that. Not only that, Gumshoe looks like it's wearing an overcoat that's represented by certain detectives in fictional things. Like the best example is Detective Dick Gumshoe of the Ace Attorney series that someone brought up in the comments all over YouTube or whatever, that it looks a lot more like Dick Gumshoe from Ace Attorney than it does Donald Trump. The only difference, of course, is Gumshoes is wearing a flat cap instead of just his hair being all over the place. So that's why I'm a little annoyed by everyone comparing it to Donald Trump, because it's only very slightly amusing rather than something that's actually funny and something that should be taken serious, at least as jokes go. I mean, so that's all I wanted to go over with. That's all I wanted to say in regards to that I just don't really care for all the comparisons to Donald Trump. But anyway, let's move on to talking about the Pokemon itself. Gumshoes is a very interesting Pokemon that it likes to wait for its prey, following its prey's routine, like stalking them and such, and then striking when the moment happens. This is what stakeout means, or as it pertains to detectives and police officers on a stakeout. They follow their prey's routines or whatever, which is another reason why I'm annoyed that people are comparing it to Donald Trump, because that's not what Donald Trump does. Donald Trump is basically a person who does whatever he pleases in the moment. Donald Trump doesn't strike me as someone who patiently waits for something to happen and then strikes, it seems like, based on everything so far, that whatever, it's not important. Let's move on. Blah, 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 blah. Nah, 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 nah. So, anyway, because it has a tenacious personality, it's why it can wait so long for one prey without wavering. When the sun comes down, it runs low on stamina. It falls asleep on the spot. Oh, is that why it's like Donald Trump? Because Donald Trump fell asleep in interviews because he was tired or something? Sorry. Like most stakeouts, am I right? Like you fall asleep on the spot. That's like most stakeouts are in fictional. Like the detectives are like, nothing's going to happen. Then they fall asleep and wake up, and then their prey is like gone or whatever. So, What? Where did the target go? It can also withstand a great deal of hunger. It's able to stay perfectly still while waiting for its prey, keeping watch without eating a thing. Man, it really wants that elusive bouffant burger so that it can sink its teeth in. Interesting concept for a Pokemon. It reminds me of a symbiotic Pokemon relationship I made a long time ago of like a cat and a dog or whatever that worked because they had an ability that they were Pokemon that should have been used for like double team purposes because they both helped each other out. And one of them, I'm thinking maybe the dog was like based off of Sherlock Holmes, and the cat or whatever is like based off the assistant or whatever. So I think it's kind of interesting that they could indeed have it's interesting that they have a detective like Pokemon or whatever. So that covers all the brand new Pokemon so far in regards to new Pokemon that we got in the August 1st trailer. If you want to hear my discussion of the Alola Forum Pokemon, make sure to watch that particular video that should be up first. And of course, look forward to my probably longer, because I have a lot to discuss in that video, in regards to my discussion on Z Powers and the Island Trial Challenge, which will probably be the next video. I'll probably upload all of these videos around the same time, but they'll be in order. So it will be coming up next. So, of course, after that, we have to look forward to August 12th, which will reveal even more information, and possibly Koro maybe even have more information. Maybe we'll even get, well, it's not related to the games, but, you know, Pokemon Fan might come out and reveal something in relation to the Pokemon franchise or whatever. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.